Well, this is a very exciting moment because this is the first time we have a soulmusic.com interview.
Yeah.
And it's really great. That's for somebody I know, who I've known for, okay, we kind of have to do math here. I think could it possibly be 40 years? Could it be 40 years?
Probably.
40, oh my.
More than that.
Wow.
I think it's been more than that because
Yeah.
we're celebrating the 40th anniversary to Young Hearts Run Free this year.
Wow, wow. Well, you know that, I haven't introduced who this is. I just realized, of course, the moment you said Young Hearts Run Free, anybody who wasn't aware who this is will know it's Candi Staton. So thank you so much for joining
You're
us
welcome,
at
David.
soulmusic.com.
Yeah,
Wow.
right.
It's our first on-camera interview
Oh, my
ever
goodness.
in history.
I feel honored
Well,
to be the first.
I feel honored to have you be our first. Okay. Well, just, I know you're here in London, in Britain, and you've been on tour.
Yeah.
And I actually want to start with asking you about that. I mean, you've been coming to the UK for decades.
Yes.
And do you remember your first visit?
Oh my goodness. It was way, way back when, I think it was Stand By Your Man,
Okay.
when I first came over.
Yes.
But they really didn't know me that well.
Okay.
And so I was like just the beginning of them.
Okay.
I was just a young person,
Yes.
with a one-hit record,
Okay.
one-hit wonder. They used to call us one-hit wonders. And I came over and I did a few shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I didn't come back for many, many years.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if I came back when Young Hearts Run Free was out.
I think so.
You think I came over?
I think you came and did at least.
It's been so long.
You probably did at least Top of the Pops.
I did.
I knew you'd have to
Yes,
have done that.
I did twice.
Yeah, of course.
I did it
Yeah, you
twice.
would have had to have done that. Yeah.
And then at Best Disco in Town, I started doing the best. They had me over doing the Best Disco in Town.
Yeah.
And then I didn't come back for many years because I had my own television show.
Yes.
It's called Say Yes over in America.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
I had a television show for 25 years. So I didn't need to go anywhere. I was always so busy there
Sure,
in
sure,
America.
sure.
So the next time I came over, I think it was when You Got the Love hit.
Yes.
And I didn't even know it was out.
Wow.
I had no idea it was, it was even, whatever happened again, because I did it in '86.
And then it came out again in 90-something?
Yeah, well, it was recorded in '86.
Yeah.
And it lay dormant for 10 years. Nobody picked it up. We went to every radio station in America trying to get the song on, and they weren't interested. And one of the guys from the company that I did it with, brought it, just my vocal, no music,
Yeah.
just the dry vocal,
Yeah.
and put it on a track that they were dancing to, and they just tried something out.
Okay.
And everybody rushed to the DJ stand and asked them
So
who was that.
Yeah.
And they wanted it, and so they went and made a few records,
Uh-huh.
and they sold them for an enormous price. And they were gone in one day, and they said, we got something.
Wow.
So they mass produced it. And it was out, gosh, my goodness, it was out probably 6 weeks before I even knew it was out. I had forgotten I made the song. They called me and said, you got a top 10 record. I said, what? You got to be joking.
Wow.
And they told me it was called You Got the Love or Love Something. I said, oh, I didn't make a record like that. I don't remember making a record like that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I had made so many other records, so I
Sure.
just couldn't remember them all. But finally, I came over for that, and I've been coming ever since.
Yeah, so you've been a regular visitor
Yeah.
to the UK for...
And I love it, David.
Oh, okay, good.
I love
Good.
it. I love coming here. The people are so receptive, and I hate to talk about my own country, but music there is so digital.
Yeah.
And you've got all of these young people. You got Beyonce and Rihanna, and you got you got Jay-Z, and that's where everybody flocks to it. If you don't have that type of music going in your rapport of music, like old soul music and yesterday's music, you only get that on an oldies but goodies station.
Wow.
You don't really get, the masses don't go after that
Sure,
anymore.
sure.
So we're like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so Young Hearts has been going on for many years here.
Of course.
And then you got the love, and then I got booked, just
Wow.
constantly booked over here, and
Wow.
the people love it.
Is there like a noticeable difference between British audiences and American audiences? I mean, is it when you actually go on stage here, is it different?
Oh yeah. Oh
What's the
yeah.
difference?
The difference is they know all my music. They
Okay.
sing with me.
Okay, yeah.
They join in like a big choir. Everybody's singing the lyrics.
Wow.
I used to say all the time, I said, if I forget the lyrics, I can read lips.
Well, I'll ask you a question. As you're talking, I mean, I'm aware, you know, from just knowing you and knowing your history,
Yeah.
that, you know, long before Young Hearts Run Free, you were what we would have called back in the day an R&B singer, you know,
Yeah.
and quite successful in the U.S. for sure, you know, and had
Right.
several hits, you know. I'd rather be Young Man's Sweetheart.
Old Man Sweetheart.
Old Man Sweetheart. See, I always get that wrong, but anyway, you know that one, the Old Man Sweetheart, the Young Man.
Well, I tried the a Young Man's Sweetheart.
And that didn't work either. Okay, all right. We don't need to go into further about that. Okay, that's all right. But yeah, so yes, I know that you already had, you know, you were already known, certainly in the R&B world, R&B circuit back then, and then of course after Young Hearts Run Free, you as a whole nother audience.
Yeah.
A pop audience and a dance music audience, disco audience, whatever we want to call it. And so, so it's like you've had like, and then of course there's a period of time when you really went back to your roots, so to speak,
Right.
in doing gospel.
Yes.
And you did that very successfully too.
Yes.
How many? Can I just ask you how many awards you've won as a gospel artist?
Oh, probably 5 or 10.
Wow.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
You
lot.
know, it's a lot. Yeah, it is. Stella Awards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
So you had like three, almost like probably at least three, you know, genres of music that
Yeah.
you've become known in. And firstly, that's unusual
Yeah.
for anyone to be successful in more
Right.
than one.
Right.
So what do you think that is? I mean, have you always been someone who, you know, music, you just love music and you just apply yourself to what music you want to apply yourself to? Has that always been like that for you about music?
Yes, yes. I remember one time I was talking to you. You came to the dressing room. And what really, really, really nailed it, you said, Candi, I never will forget it. You said, Candi, sing what's in your heart.
Wow, I said that?
You said that.
Wow, all right.
You said, don't listen to what other people say. He said,
Okay.
just sing what's in your heart.
Yes.
And he said, sing, because you have a lot to give.
Yes.
And you told me to sing what's in my heart. And I went and I thought about that. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to sing the songs that I get, all the songs on my new record, which is called It's Time to Be Free.
All right. Hello.
I wrote it.
We don't mind showing it.
Yeah, we don't
It's
mind
okay.
showing
We
it.
can show it.
It'll
Hello.
be out in July.
Yeah,
Go up on iTunes.
You know, I just say something before you go on. You know, back in the day,
yeah.
you know, we really didn't have any shame
No.
about promoting
No.
records. You say, yeah, here it is. This is it. Hello. This is it. You go buy it. Go buy it. You know, it was fine. I'm still
Yeah.
old school like that. I
Right,
think you should
right.
promote your product.
You really should.
It's important. You've got to.
So we
Yeah.
just put it on there. Your name is in there too.
Yeah, well,
because
thank you so
give me
much for that. It was
such
very
good
kind.
wisdom and
Yes,
advice.
thank you.
And I wrote every song coming out of a very, I guess, horrendous relationship. All of it kind of ties in to what I'm singing. Also, Life Happens was the same kind of
Yes.
thing, but it was a secular version
Sure.
of, and it's good therapy.
Yeah.
When you've gone through really traumatic things in your life, I think singing about it gives you that therapy that you don't have to lay there on the couch with a psychologist and tell him about your childhood and all the other bad things that happened to you. So you sing it out, and music is healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
healing, and what I think keeps me going is the fact that I can sing troubles. Even though Young Hearts Run Free has a wonderful beat, you can dance to it. It also has a message that is kind of depressing.
Actually, I've never really analyzed the lyrics.
You know, it is. You
Let me
get the
think about
babies,
it.
but you know, what's the sense in
Wow.
sharing this one and only life, ending up just another lost and lonely wife? You'll count up the years and they'll be filled with tears, yet people are dancing, oh yeah, sure, I love that song. But they're singing depressing, depressing music.
I mean, I'm guilty of the same thing. I listen to it, go like, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
never,
really good though.
Really
so that's how that goes.
Well, I want to ask you. So I was just saying about the fact that you have been successful in all the different genres of music, and I'm really intrigued when I meet someone who's been singing professionally and recording successfully for so many decades. I always want to ask, what is it that has kept you going? I mean, I know there's obviously a personal reason you could give, and I know you well enough to know that that would be an answer that rests in your faith. I know that would be the most obviously primary answer.
Of course it is. Yeah, that's the foundational. God is the answer to that. That's kept me going. But my inspiration.
What's kept you going in the business? That's
it was
not
my
an easy
children.
business.
I'm a single mom.
Okay.
And I only finished high school. I took my music for granted. I took my vocals for granted because when you're born with the talent, you're kind of like, oh well, it's just something I do. But when it comes down, the push comes to a shove, as we say in America.
Yeah, of course.
And you got to feed your kids. You got to give them a place to live.
Yeah.
And here you go, and you start singing, and people like it. And then all of a sudden, you get a break. You get introduced to Rick Hall. And Muscle Shoals, and we do 3 songs. And the first night I met him, and then it comes out on Capitol Records. And my first, rather than Old Man Sweetheart, sells 750,000 records, just like that, because they thought I was Aretha.
You ever told her that?
Yeah, I told her that. The song was actually written for her.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Really?
I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Wow.
And it was written by the late George Jackson.
Yeah.
And he had it for Aretha, and he said, I wonder, can you sing this? And I sung it too. And we went in that studio. He woke every musician up in Muscle Shoals that he could think of to come and play this music. I found a singer because Etta James had just left him, and he was looking for a female artist. So I did that song, and the rest is history.
Wow.
And I was able to provide for my kids, and they kept me going. I had to send them to school, had to buy all their clothes, had to buy everything for them, their books, send them to college, to the ones that wanted to go. Music, whatever they wanted to do, I was always there. So I had to be a mother. So I celebrate, and this may be funny to you, David, I celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Good.
The mother and the father.
Well, I gotcha. So it was really like necessity.
Yes, it was out of pure necessity.
Wow.
It was something I was pushed into, not something that I craved or wanted to do. It was because, okay, I can do this, and I'm going to do this because this is going to make me a living. It's going to help my kids. It's going to send them to school. It's going to keep a roof over our heads. So regardless of what comes and goes, tenacity, I had that push, that drive to live, that drive to do everything. You couldn't stop me. I was unstoppable.
Well, you still are.
Yeah, well.
You are. I mean, how do I know that? It's because you're sitting here and you just did, 5 shows in different parts of the UK. You do London show tomorrow night. And I mean, that tenacity. So actually, probably you've answered the question in that one word.
Right.
Because you haven't stopped, you haven't given up, even in the face
and don't plan to.
Yeah. Well, all right. Okay. All right.
Don't
plan to. Okay. Good.
As long as I'm
Me neither. Me neither. I'm right there with you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And it's all in your mind. People wondering, well, you're 76 years old. Why are you still out here singing? And why aren't you?
Well, I'd say I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I am.
Okay.
And I've got grown children. He's one of them. My son's over there, and he can prove it.
Okay, yes.
But I started young. I started at 19. Had my first child at 19.
Yeah.
And I'm out here on the road, and it's the mindset.
Yes.
People have to understand the mind is the one that keeps you young or keeps you old. I've got friends right now that tells me, I don't guess you know how old you are. I said, well, I guess I do. But when are you going to sit down and just act your age? I said, I'm acting my age. Chronologically, I'm 50.
That's funny. I used to tell, I kind of got stuck around 36.
Yeah, okay, good. That's
Kind
a good
of.
age.
Yeah.
I've got a sign on my refrigerator that said, claim an age and stick with it.
Okay. You mentioned Aretha. I remember many years ago, I can't remember what age she was, but the Jet magazine interviewed her, and they said, well, how old are you, Miss Franklin? She said, and she was at least 14 years older than what she said. She said, I'm 36 and holding, or 32 and holding. I'm like, I don't know what you're holding, whatever you're holding. You ain't 32.
Yeah, right.
But I get it. I know. It is in the mind.
It's in the mind. It's how you think.
Yeah.
You can think old. You can think.
And then you might as well give up when you start thinking old.
I got a backache.
Oh.
My God, my knee. Oh, my head. You know, we get hurt sometimes, we get pain sometimes. They come from anywhere.
Yes.
You just might be walking along, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah.
You know, but you say, oh, forget it. I'm walking anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's true to say that the body, physical, does change, of course.
Yes.
It's meant to.
It
was designed to break
Right,
down at some point. We know that. But how you treat it would absolutely affect how it breaks down and how quickly it breaks down.
Of course.
And you don't have to break down that quick.
No,
In fact, you were talking just before we started John, the interview, and I started with the interview, and I asked you about how you stay fit, and you said about drinking water.
Lots of it.
No soda, lots of water, and do lots of walking.
Right, and sleep.
Sleep, well, yeah.
Get your proper rest.
Yeah, that's
that's
very
critical.
important. Yeah. And you also said the energy of doing shows.
Yeah. Well, I gained maybe a couple, 2 or 3 pounds, but I jumped it off. Within a week or so, I'm back down to my weight.
Okay. And so, so I think you answered my question about tenacity is really what's kept you going, and faith. I mean, faith as well as your tenacity. But I'm just intrigued, the kind of business that we're in is not easy for even the most successful person, megastar, whoever. It's just not easy. So how, dealing with the business part of it, how have you been able to survive through all the changes, when we started, oh God, we had were 45s and LPs, and then at some point we went to 8 tracks. Well,
you remember the 78?
Well, yeah, actually I do.
8 tracks, we had
8 tracks.
4 tracks.
The people, when you talk to people, they're like, what's an 8 track?
8 tracks, what was
the thing
that?
you put in your car, if you had a car. 8 track.
You put all the music on 4 tracks, including the vocals.
Yeah. Oh, you mean recording? Yeah.
You all stood in the room together, and right in the middle was a mic, and everybody else was around playing.
Yeah.
And if one person made a mistake, you had to do it all over again, because you couldn't punch them in.
No punching.
No punching.
And it certainly wasn't auto, whatever they call it. Auto tune.
Auto tune. You better sing. You better sing.
Or
people can get away with a lot these days that they couldn't get a lot. We would get beer bottles thrown at us in the chitlin circle.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I remember one time the organ player had the duck. He was playing something, and they had gotten drunk. You know about the chitlin circle, right?
Yeah, I never went on it, but I know about it.
I got a chapter of that in my book.
Wow.
My book is coming out in October.
Oh, good. What's it called?
Young Hearts Run Free.
Good.
It's my autobiography.
Yes.
It's coming out in in October, probably before the 2016. I get it right.
I gotcha. Right.
It's over. It'll be out, and it's so David.
Wow. And now this is your second. You've written more than one book, haven't you?
I wrote a small book.
Okay, so this is your full. This is
I tell all.
This is the okay.
Tell all.
Oh wow. Is there anyone you have to worry about suing you?
No, because it's true, and I've got witnesses. This is my story. Tell your side of the story. If you want to write a book, go and tell on me.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to write. But this is my side of the story, and this is true.
Yeah.
I don't write lies.
Good. Well,
everything is going to be the truth. Some of them might deny it.
Well, of course, that
she's lying on me. I didn't do that. Oh, I got that were there, that saw it, that would testify under oath.
Yes. Well, you know, I have a couple of stories like that
Yeah.
myself. You know, at some point I'm going to do. I've been working on some version of my memoirs, not my autobiography, my memoirs.
David.
Yeah, the thing is, but there are a couple of things I have to be careful because people are not alive anymore, and they can't say it's not true.
Right.
But I know. But again, I also have witnesses.
Yeah.
So, and there's one in particular that's a little sensitive that involves someone who switched from being, I'm going to kind of, what you call
I
this?
think I know who you're talking about.
Someone who was originally secular and then became non-secular. And that's a funny story about this particular individual.
Yeah.
And I know that when this person reads, if I actually put this in there, they'll say, no, that's absolutely not true.
Right.
But it was true, and we had a photographer there.
Right.
Fortunately, the photographer didn't take any photographs, which is good.
Yeah.
Because, but you know, there's things like that, and, and I thought about it, well, do I really want to tell that? Because, you know, I mean, nothing bad happened, but what got said.
It's your truth.
Well, and it is, and I was there, and the person was there, and the photographer was there,
and that's what sells books when you tell the whole story.
Well, I can't wait to read it.
I call names.
Oh.
I call exactly what they did. Okay, I'm calling you did it.
Well, yeah, if you did
you
it.
You did it to me.
And you can't say you didn't.
And you can't say you didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm
excited about that.
Yeah.
You write it by yourself?
Yep.
You actually wrote the whole thing by yourself?
I have a publisher, his name is Sherm Smith, and he's with Heritage Builders.
Yes.
Publishing company out of LA. They just did the book on Rick Hall.
Okay, okay.
And that's how I met him.
Yeah.
I was at one of the Rick Hall, they were doing something with CBS.
Yes.
And he wanted me on the interview with him.
Yeah.
So I came up and Sherman Smith was there, and he says, I want to do a book on you.
Wow.
I said, you got it.
Okay.
I've been looking for somebody like you to do a book on me. I tried writing my own book, and it just wasn't quite, wasn't gelling.
Right.
And he's had himself, he's an author.
Okay.
So he's had a New York #1 bestseller himself. So he knows how to put the literary stuff together to make it really read.
Vivid.
And then he doesn't take my personality out of it.
Good.
That's the thing I like
That's the thing
about
that's
it.
very tricky.
Yeah.
Because when someone writes with you in any way, to keep the voice of the person
you got
very challenging.
It's very challenging.
Because you're not that person.
Right.
You're the person writing with them, and you've got to make sure their voice is heard, because it's their book.
Because Rick Hall told me that he had someone else to write the book, have him write the book. And when he got his first draft back, he was like,
that's not
who in the world are they talking about? This is not me.
I'll just cut them. Just check the
Yep.
battery.
Okay, no problem.
One time cut.
How are we doing with time?
We're 20 to 11.
Oh, okay, it's got 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, we're
that's
doing
fine.
well.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this.
Okay.
And I also want to talk about your studio and the investment in studio.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And it will probably be good for other people to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't think many people have done that.
No. They do it all the time in America, though.
Yeah,
It's,
well, really.
It's common.
It's quite common?
It's
Really?
very common, yeah.
Well, most of, and I'm thinking about, it's interesting, but actually I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, David. Ready to roll? Getting through?
Yeah, so what you were saying about the, about the book. So the book is coming out this year, 2016, Young Hearts Run Free. I cannot wait to read it. I'm really looking forward to that. And I especially want to read the names. I'm sure everybody wants to read the names.
Of course, I got some famous names
Oh,
there too.
I'm so sure. Okay, well, great. And
Yeah.
did you find writing in the same way that writing songs and singing is cathartic and really good for you? Did you find writing the book was the
It
same
was
thing?
therapeutic.
Really
it was
therapeutic,
very therapeutic
yeah.
because, you know what? There were times, David, that I was writing the book. At first, I wrote it in longhand.
Yeah.
It seems like my hand takes on
It takes a life of
mind
itself.
of itself.
Life of itself.
And it just goes to writing, and things just come when I write myself, and then I read it back to Sherm, and he records it, and then he puts it in literary form.
Wow.
And I was there. It was one incident where one of my exes, we were doing a show. This is just an excerpt in Las Vegas with Ray Charles. I was in Las Vegas with Ray Charles, and he got angry at me. He was very, very abusive, and he couldn't find me one night. And then I finally walked out of the auditorium because I hadn't seen Ray's show. I'd always spent time in the dressing room with Ray talking to him all night until we did the show. And then I said, I'm just going to watch his show tonight. So I just got hidden in the audience. He was looking for me, and he'd already been drinking, and he was probably high on something. But he, when he came up, where were you? And I said, I was in there watching Ray. He says, let's go upstairs. And I went upstairs with him, and he pushed me on the elevator, took me all the way up to the 20th plus floor, and he pulled a gun on me.
Oh, no.
He pulled a gun on me, and he says, I'm going to kill you tonight. You don't embarrass me like this. You saw me looking for you. I said, well, I wasn't going to say call your name because he was doing a show. It wouldn't have been respectful. And so he says, I'm tired. I'm just, he went to cussing and going on. And then he said, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I ain't going to shoot you. It'll make too much noise. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He picked me up, and there was a balcony.
Oh, no.
Right out from my suite. And he picked me up and put me in his arms like this. He was a big guy. And held me over the balcony.
Oh!
And said, if you even cough, I'm going to drop you. That would have been like 22 floors. I would have been like a scrambled egg by the time I reached the cement. And I'm standing there, I'm lying there, I am like shaking. I'm like, what in the world am I going to do? Oh, Jesus, what am I going? I'm getting ready to die. That's what I was thinking. And then I just got to thinking. I said, I got to think of something. I said, Lord, you got to help me. And then I said, Jimmy, have you ever thought about where you are? He said, what are you talking about? Where? I said, this place is mafia owned.
Yeah.
I said, and I'm on the billboard outside. Can you imagine the papers in the morning saying Candi Staton was thrown from the balcony of her hotel room by her husband? And you got to get out of Vegas, and you won't make it. That was smart, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know how your mind...
Pull me in. He said, no, I better not do that. And I was so exhausted. I just went, at that point, I had no feelings. I was like numb. I was just numb. I didn't even care anymore. I just went and got me a couple of pillows, laid on the bed. He pulled the gun out again. He put it to my head. I said, well, Jimmy, just shoot me. I said, my life ain't worth living no way. Just go and get it over with. You gonna shoot me, shoot me. Just get it over with. And do you know I went to sleep? And all that chaos, I just was so exhausted I fell asleep. When I woke up, he wasn't there anymore. And he was gone. And I got up, it was about 8 o'clock the next morning. And I took a shower, I ordered breakfast, and I heard the key open and he came in as though nothing ever happened.
What?
Yes. Hey, why didn't you order me some breakfast? What? Oh, hi. How you doing today? You look cute today. Why didn't you order me some breakfast? I'm like, you are crazy.
Yeah.
You are nuts.
Yeah.
And so I said, I got to get rid of you really quick before I lose my life. You're not killing me. So that's just an excerpt of some of the stories in that book.
Well, I'll ask you two things. First, when you were writing it, did you have to relive it?
I cried.
Of course.
I was lying there that morning, and I was writing. It was early. And I said, how in the world did I take this?
Yeah.
What was wrong with me? And tears just streaming down, and I'm just boo-hooing. I'm just crying. And I finished that when I was at my daughter's house. And she walked in and she said, Mom, what you crying for? I said, I just wrote about Jimmy. I just wrote this chapter. And I said, that's just horrible. How can anybody live like that? And so she said, you need to quit writing. She said, if that's going to take that kind of effect on you, you just need to quit writing for a while. I said, no, I can't do that, Sanders. I got to get it out. I thought I got it out. I thought I'd gone. I thought I'd forgiven him. But I realized I hadn't. I hated him that morning.
Yeah.
And then I had to forgive everybody. you know, eventually you will. You'll have to forget. But that's just an excerpt of the book.
Wow, wow. Well, the next thing that occurred to me as you were telling the story is what a great film it would be.
Wouldn't it be a great one?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's have it be a best-selling book.
Yes.
And then let's have someone turn it into a film.
Into a movie?
Because that's like...
Oh, that's just one of them.
Okay.
I got 3 more.
Okay.
Worse than that.
Worse?
Yeah.
Well,
that's probably the worst.
Right.
But I got some, you know, almost on that same level.
Wow.
You know, every time. I've been...
Well, you mentioned that this album, Time to Be Free, is a reflection of something you've been through yourself.
Right.
So a couple of things I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it because you know, like I say, old school, we promote, right? Promote. So just share with us a little bit about the album. One thing before you do that is you mentioned to me, and I asked you where you recorded it, and you mentioned having your own home studio and with your son, and I think that's so amazing. You just say a little bit about how you decided you decided at some point to do that. Can you say a little bit
actually,
about that?
Marcus came up with the idea.
Okay.
He's very he's a techno genius almost.
Techno genius, okay,
yeah,
all right.
He
Is he
loves
blushing? He's in the room. We're just looking to see if he's blushing. He's not blushing.
So he came
It's
up
okay.
and he said to me one day, he said, "Mom, why don't we just take the money that we're spending on other people's studio and invest in our own? And we can buy certain, things.
Sure.
Equipment, boards, and
Yeah.
and all that stuff that goes into studios. We can buy it ourselves, and I can read and learn. He learned. He self-taught himself, and now he does it. He's an expert at it. He's amazing.
And how long have you had the studio now?
Oh, about since in the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have you recorded everything there?
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
so I think I think before we turned on, started rolling tape, but it's not really tape anymore, but before we started the interview, I asked you about whether you go from your living room into the studio, and we were joking about you don't quite do that, and then I think, I was saying you probably if you did that, you'd spend all day there.
I would.
It would never go anywhere.
I would. But I live about 40 minutes from the studio.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the music, what people can
Let me
expect
just
to
see
hear.
this. The one. Well, first one is called "Stand Up, Shout Out, Hallelujah." It's house beat. It's kind of like what do you call it? You Got the Love. Type stuff.
Yeah.
And the next one is You Got the Love. Marcus has mixed. He mixed this one.
Okay.
Everybody else has mixed it, so we decided to mix
Might as
our
well
own.
Yeah.
So, and then there's another song on here called "Whatever You Don't Master Will Master You,"
Wow.
and that's the subject within itself. That'll
Yes,
preach.
it is, isn't it? That sounds like a whole other book,
It
by
is.
the way. Yes.
It'll master you. So it's about drugs and all that kind of stuff that people get involved with, and they can't seem to deal with it.
Get
so
through it, yeah.
that's a good one. And then I got another one. It's a calypso type of
nice.
Nice
Like
irony,
reggae kind of.
Reggae type of song
yeah.
called. Some call it Mercy.
Okay.
But I call it Grace. And then the title cut is "It's Time to Be Free." So that one is it's more like it's just a funk type of straightforward nice song. So it's time to be free. And then another one, Marcus came up with this with the track for this one.
Yes.
It's called "It Makes Me Wanna Holler."
All right.
It makes me want to holler because there's so many things in the world that's going on that I can't do anything about.
Yes.
I can't change the laws.
Right.
People are killing each other.
Yeah.
Terrorists is out there. Everything. You don't ever know what's going to happen tomorrow, and you can't do anything but holler. We call it just holler. I think somebody else had a song out that's had holler in it.
Well, Marvin Gaye. Makes me want to holler. Throw up both my hands.
Throw up my hands.
The inner city blues.
Right. It's Your Season is in there. It's kind of like a disco type of. This is a song to God I wrote. Personal. This is so personal. I love you more today than I did yesterday, and I love you more tomorrow. That's that song. It has a really nice beat. Cleaning out my closet, kind of funny, you know. I'm getting rid of everything. Everything that's not like God has got to go.
Okay.
So, and then I'd have a song dedicated to Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I never met him in person. Put It Back. It's an old gospel type, you know,
Yes, yes,
quartet type song there,
Yes.
and I made it this far. This is a song that I woke up one morning and I had, I'll tell you because you're my friend.
Okay.
I had plantar fasciitis in one of my feet. Do you know what that is?
No, it sounds
Oh,
horrible.
it's horrible.
What is it?
You can't walk. It's something in your heel, and it just hurts. If you put your foot on your heel on the. A lot of people out there know what I'm talking about because you know. Look at him. He knows.
We look at Paul who's doing the
Plantar
video.
fasciitis, and I couldn't hardly walk for days, and I was coming from Japan, and I'd done 3 shows in Japan, and I was like, oh Lord, I was in first class, and I couldn't walk to the bathroom without. I'm like, I would wait till everybody was asleep, and then I'd get up and tiptoe, just barely making it. And so when I got back home, I went to the doctor, he told me what it was. But I got up that morning, and I wrote a song, and it was called I Made It This Far. I've made it this far. And then I wrote the song that says, when I got out of my bed this morning and put my feet on the floor, walked over to my dressing table. As I looked down at the floor, I could still see myself in the mirror as I felt God's grace and love. And I began to thank and praise it because I made it this far. And it's a beautiful old ballad type of gospel.
Wow.
And you'll love it. If you
Good.
love gospel, you'll love it.
Good.
Can't you hear him calling? This is kind of like a person that's nearing the end of their lives. And then I have one called Behind the Veil of Silence, which is like an abused woman's version of, you tell her how it feels to be abused within those few minutes, how you really feel, the heart of it, the hurt, the pain, the frustration, the helplessness, how you will feel when you're truly abused. And a lot of women can identify with this. And number 15 is just me, the keyboards, and myself.
Okay.
And it's called That's All I Can Do.
All right. Well, when you said about the keyboards, it reminds me of, didn't you do one, take my hand,
Precious Lord.
Precious Lord, take my hand. Did you do that the same way?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
David Crawford played
That's right,
keyboards
yeah.
on that one.
I just remembered it when you
Yeah.
said it. So how do you feel about this?
I love it.
And you're proud of it?
I'm proud of it, yes. Yes.
Well, it's really something to be able to say, I've got my own album, my own record label. I did it in my own studio
Publishing
with
company.
my son.
I got 2 publishing companies.
Okay.
And you know, we
So you're quite the entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you?
Wonderful.
And just to round that off, have you always been that way?
Well, I always
Or
had
did you
I always
learn
had
to
it
become
in me,
that?
but I never could get it out.
Okay. And what
Because there were other people telling me
Sure,
what to do.
sure.
There were management, you
Sure.
got to sing this way, or
Go do
there was
this or
producers telling me I had to sing that way, or they had my whole life figured
mapped
out.
Yeah.
This is where you're going, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to
Yeah,
wear,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is how you're going to look, this is how you're going to act, all of that stuff, you know, trying to create an image. And now I threw the image out the window. I'm just me.
Good. All right. It's
Just
working.
being myself.
All right, I
Yeah.
love it. Candi, it's just really brilliant. It's brilliant. I love that you're here in the UK. I love that you got a new record out.
Right.
I love that you keep going. You're like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you're the soulful Energizer
All
Bunny.
right now.
And is there anything you want to say just to finish off our interview?
I just enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
You've been such a friend to me for all these years, and you give me nothing but wisdom, and you tell me a lot about the music industry, and we can talk
Yeah.
about things because we have so much in common.
True.
And I love you so much, and I love the fans out there that have been buying my records, that kept me afloat.
Yes.
When the other people in my country would like kicked us to the curb, Europe and the UK picked me up, and they began to buy records and they began to support me, and I just love you so much. When I get on that stage and say I love you, I really
It's
do
really genuine.
mean it. I mean it from my heart. I do love you.
All right. Well, it's just been really great.
Mhm.
This is my first on-camera interview.
All right.
I feel a little shy.
Ah,
Not really. That's
no,
a
you
lie.
don't.
I'm not shy.
No, you're
It's
not.
a lie. I'm not supposed to tell lies on camera. But no, it's been really great. And
Yeah.
it just, I realize how, by doing this, we
Mhm.
really are giving people opportunity to see when two people get together as friends and just talk about
Yeah.
music, about
Yeah.
life. It's a different kind of, it's very different from doing
Mhm.
like a interview.
Right,
It's
yes.
been more like a great
Yeah,
conversation.
it's
So
just a
thank you so
conversation.
much for
You're welcome.
being here, taking time today.
Anytime.
I know you're off to the BBC.
Yeah.